button here, press and hold to turn it on, press and hold to turn it off. Pretty straightforward and simple there. The machine does go up and down, so if you press this knob here, you can push down to make it go lower, push down to make it go higher. That's the first knob. The second knob, when you press it in, rotates the keyboard right to left. To let go and place it into the center to lock it in, you'll hear it click. You just let go of that button and it clicks in. Your monitor also articulates from side to side and back and forth, so that's good for height adjustments. So your first step after you turn the machine on, you have two probes that you can choose from. Your 8 to 18 is going to be for more superficial structures like arterial access or fingers or small joints, and then your 4 to 12 is going to be primarily for your vascular access. So your first step would be to choose your probe, which is located over here. So again, your 8 to 18 or your 4 to 12, just choose whichever one you're planning on scanning with. And then once you touch the probe, all your different presets will come up, and that basically just puts the parameters on the machine to where you need to go so you don't have to adjust a lot. So let's pretend we were going to do a radial artery access with our 4 to 12. We would touch our 4 to 12 probe, it's highlighted, and then you choose radial artery. You give it a second to load, and then that brings up all your parameters here. So from here, you should be ready to scan. The only things you might need to adjust is brightness, which right here where it says brightness, you crank it to the right, it increases the brightness of your image. You crank it to the left, it gets a little bit darker. So back and forth, bright and dark. Your depth, which is just catty corner to your brightness knob, and I labeled it depth right there for you. You increase it, it goes deeper, and it goes by 0.5 over here. You can see those centimeter markers on the side, or you can come right here, or you turn it to the left to go more shallow, and you can really make it nice and shallow there. Moving over here, you have your color flow. So color on, it populates your box. You can move your box around by taking your trackball here, and then you can also adjust the size. So if you look at your little trackball here where it says size, you click this little button corresponding to the size knob, and you can increase and decrease the size of your color box. Once you're happy with the size of the box, you just press that button again, and it gets you back to position. So this trackball corresponds to those notations that are here on the trackball. So color on, again, you can press it to get it off, or you can always just press your B mode to get you back to plain black and white scanning. So color on, color off, or color on and then just B for your back mode. If you needed to put a Doppler in something, you turn your color on. Right below that, your Doppler signal. You can drop a pulse wave in there if you needed to check for like arterial or venous flow. So you just take it here, and that'll automatically start your live scan. You can also update it again, use your trackball that corresponds to each thing here, and you would just update it there if you needed to place the sample somewhere else. Again, I'm just pressing my update key or my enter key. And then to get me out of everything, I could either hit both of those again to get out of them, or I can simply just go be plain black and white mode. And then to freeze an image, it's just going to be your little pause button that freezes your image. If you needed to store it, P1 would store it to the machine for you, but since you're not storing, you shouldn't necessarily need to utilize that. To unfreeze, you just unfreeze it again. And then your last little two things here, if you needed to drop a center line down, you would hit the last button over here, center line. Drops the center line down, that corresponds to that little arrow, and it corresponds to the center notch right in the center of the probe. Center line on, same way to get it off, center line off. Last little thing, if you have this screen tilted this way and you want to see if a physician or someone's telling you to adjust the brightness and the machine is tilted towards them, if you slide down just like an iPhone, this mirrors exactly what's on the screen. So no matter what I do here, if I crank up the brightness, I can see exactly what's going on. If I put color on, I can see where this color box is, exactly where the screen is. So say the screen's rotated back towards you and you want to get out of this, just like an iPhone, you're just going to take your finger, swipe up, and you're back to your plain black and white or your plain screen. And that's pretty much it.